PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele, and on this edition of Vegas Hockey Hub Recap, where we break down every single game of the 2024-2025 season. And man, this was a very interesting game from start to finish for your Vegas Golden Knights. And there is going to be a lot to cover and so much that we are going to talk about on this edition of Vegas Hockey Hub. Now, watching this game and really seeing, a playoff contending team go up against your Vegas Golden Knights, there's so much we can go over and really explore on this episode of Vegas Hockey Hub Recap with your host, Ian Rachiele. And, we're going to have the pregame notes. We're going to go over the starting lineup. And there is a lot to go over on this episode. And we're going to cover all the pregame notes and the highlights of this game. We're going to do all of that right here, right now on Vegas Hockey Hub Recap. Now, on the previous episode of Vegas Hockey Hub Recap, we talked about the absentee of William Karlsson. Like, where was William Karlsson? We weren't going to speculate until we had an official update on that. But good news, we have an update for you on the whereabouts of what William Karlsson and why he was not at the most recent game. And it's because he was having a baby. So, congratulations to the Karlsson family on the newborn. So that is the update there. So there was a reason for why he was absent. And, good thing for the Vegas Golden Knights. He is back in the starting lineup. He would be on the third line for this game. But, yeah, that was just a good update. A lot of people were kind of wondering and seeing what was, the situation. Was it a rest day? Was it just one of those situations where he was a healthy scratch maybe? But no, William Karlsson, Karlsson family has added one more. So, yeah, congratulations to William Karlsson on that. And hope his family is doing well. Now, into the pregame notes, and this was fantastic news for your Vegas Golden Knights, as it was announced that Alex Pietrangelo is expected to play for tonight. So after all the injury and all the unfortunate stuff with the upper body that has left Alex Pietrangelo unavailable the last couple of games heading into this one, it is fantastic news for the Vegas Golden Knights. Defenseman Alex Pietrangelo expected to play tonight. And we saw him on that first defensive pairing with Noah Hanifin. So kind of back to the status quo for the Vegas Golden Knights. But, this guy, multi-time Stanley Cup champion, someone who the Vegas Golden Knights can count on, when it matters the most. So I will say for Alex Pietrangelo, it's good to see him back for your Vegas Golden Knights. And I really like that Alex Pietrangelo is back for Vegas. Now, heading into the starting lineup for this game. Now, on forward line one, there is really no surprise here. You have the duo of Ivan Barbashev and Jack Eichel, the two constants of this year, really solid for the Vegas Golden Knights. And then Callahan Burke, he has been on the bottom six for a while. Now, him being on that first line, going to see how he does. They've had Alexander Holtz up there. They've had Pavel Dorofeyev up there. Callahan Burke, he gets his chance. While the Mark Stone situation, till he is back 100%. And then forward line two, Tomas Hertl, Nicholas Waugh, and Keegan Kolesar. So over the last 2.5 weeks, we have seen that this second line has done relatively well. Kolesar has been scoring goals. Hertl's been scoring goals. Waugh has been setting both of them up with nice setup passes. On the forward line three, like I mentioned earlier in the show, welcome back William Karlsson. Brett Howden is on there with Pavel Dorofeyev. And my, oh my, this line had an impact in this game. And we're going to get into that in just a second. And then on the fourth line, Tanner Pearson, Cole Schwindt, Alexander Holtz. Kind of, seeing what the chemistry is there. Schwindt and Pearson, it looks like they have a bit of chemistry. Holtz has been everywhere and anywhere pretty much the entire time here in Vegas. And then for the defensive pairings for your Vegas Golden Knights, you have Noah Hanifin and Alex Pietrangelo. On defensive pairing two, Shea Theodore, Braden McNabb, the defensive pairing that has been together for the last couple of seasons. And then with Zach Whitecloud not being in the lineup, Nicholas Hague and Caden Korzak. So it's kind of a different defensive pairing. We've only seen a couple of games with Hague and Korzak together. And then in net, the starting goaltender, Aiden Hill. So, that's your starting lineup for the Vegas Golden Knights heading into this game. And I do have to mention, since we're getting into the game itself, that there was an injury scare for Aiden Hill. There was a puck that went off of Aiden Hill, that went off his pad, and it kind of seemed like he was shaken up just a little bit. Probably a stinger. I mean, we've seen that with goalies. They take a shot wrong, or if they try to block a shot and it hits the wrong area or hits a sensitive spot in the body, it looked like a stinger. But yeah, there was a couple of seconds where it looked like Aiden Hill possibly could have gotten hurt, but he did shake it off, and he is, finishing the game. And, when it comes to Aiden Hill, it's always a kind of an up and down situation. He's streaky at times with the Vegas Golden Knights, but relatively in this game, he had an amazing performance with the Vegas Golden Knights. And, people want to talk about the shitty officiating. You want to do that, go right ahead. But when it comes to Aiden Hill, he had one of his best performances. The Calgary game a while back, I would kind of put him on that same level. But, when it comes to Aiden Hill, I like what we've seen in this game. Arguably one of his best performances this year. And speaking of the officiating, the no calls, okay? Now, look, I understand that you're not going to get every single call. I understand that not everything is going to be perfect, okay? Even baseball umpires don't get 100% of the calls right every single game. I'm aware of that. But the sloppiness of the officiating tonight, the amount of times where there was trips that were not called, there was slashes that were not called, there was cross checks that just seemed to go unnoticed. There was even one or two times I swore we saw maybe some interference calls that did not happen with the Vegas Golden Knights. And like I said, look, it's not going to be perfect. This is sports. All right, we're humans. All right, we're not going to get to robot umpires. We're not baseball yet. Okay, but when it comes to hockey, you got to do better. And this is really the only thing that I will sit here and kind of be frustrated at, was that the officiating tonight was not to par. It was not NHL caliber tonight. And when it comes to it, when it comes to the officiating, all I have to say is get your shit together. You got to do better if you're going to keep moving forward. All right? Because if you have games like this moving forward, it's really going to spotlight the sloppiness of the officiating. So, yeah, terrible officiating tonight. I mean, there was even dirty hits that were uncalled. I mean, there was even a situation where a called Avalanche player kind of hit McNabb up high, and it seemed like nothing was called there. Brett Howden was hit in the neutral zone, and that kind of seemed like it was a shady hit. It took a little bit for Howden to get back up, and he skated off and back to the ice. But, yeah, this was kind of my main issue in this game. It's just the officiating, kind of put themselves in it versus, just taking themselves out and having the game play and then them just officiating it. So, yeah, I just wanted to take a few seconds and kind of talk about that. Not pleased with the officiating tonight. It was just not a good performance, and not really looking forward to seeing the next time that these officials are on the score sheet when I go and I watch these games. I see a certain referee on the match card, on the scorecard before the game starts. And after a quiet and productive first period, there was no score on the score sheet for either team. But in the second period, and man, I am impressed by Pavel Dorofeyev, the hot streak that we have seen Pavel Dorofeyev in this season. As Pavel Dorofeyev, he gets it past, and it is in the back of the net for the Vegas Golden Knights. And this is his 12th goal in the last 23 games for the Vegas Golden Knights. And it's just remarkable how well Pavel Dorofeyev has done. Regardless if you put him on the second line, he's scoring goals. You put him on the power play, he's scoring goals. He was on the first line for a little bit, he's scoring goals. I mean, the end conclusion, all right, if you're doing a hypothesis, you're trying to get down to the common denominator, is the fact that Pavel Dorofeyev scores goals for the Vegas Golden Knights. And, for a young guy with the Vegas Golden Knights, he's playing like a veteran. He's calm. He's collective when he is in the organization, when he's out there on the ice. So, yeah, the hot streak for number 16, Pavel Dorofeyev, just continues tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. And, there's a lot of things you can say, but proud would probably be the way I would describe it. It's just really awesome to see a player like Pavel Dorofeyev go from being drafted, kind of a mid-round pick with the Vegas Golden Knights. He goes to the Henderson Silver Knights in the AHL. He develops there. He continues to progress. And then he graduates from being a prospect into a full-fledged NHLer. So, yeah, Pavel Dorofeyev. There was an assist by Ivan Barbashev and Alex Pietrangelo on this play. But really good for Pavel Dorofeyev and your Vegas Golden Knights to make it a 1-0 game to start this out. So, really happy to see this for Pavel Dorofeyev. And, breakout star. I mean, if there's going to be any guy from Vegas that has the long-term future to become a superstar in the making, it's Pavel Dorofeyev. Now, after a goal to make it a 1-1 game, just a simple goal by them. This was a backhand on the left side, got past Adin Hill. Look, goals like that are going to happen. It happens in hockey. Your Vegas Golden Knights are tied at 1 after the second period. And after a third period where there was an interference call on Cale Makar, and after back-to-back penalties by the Vegas Golden Knights that they killed off, so props to the penalty kill for doing what they needed to do. The Vegas Golden Knights, they had to kind of, take charge in the extra minutes of this game. It heads into extras. And after a grueling couple of minutes, the Vegas Golden Knights would not put the puck in the back of the net. So then it would have to go into the overtime, sudden death kind of thing. And, you have Alexander Georgiev over on one side. You have Adin Hill on our side. And to really break this down, I'm going to go to NHL.com. You're going to see it on the monitor. I'm sorry. I won't apologize. But when it comes to the sudden death, sudden death rules, it started out with Pavel Dorofeyev. He would start this out. And after a wrist shot, Georgiev would save it. And that would still stay at 1-1. And then you would have Adin Hill go up against Mikko Rantanen. And Mikko Rantanen would try with the backhand. Adin Hill would make a stop on the play, so it would stay at 1. Next would be Jack Eichel. And Jack Eichel, he would make a few dangles, try to get past Georgiev, would be stopped, and would still stay at 1. Nathan MacKinnon, arguably one of the best point scorers we have seen this year, he would be sent out. And after a wrist shot, he tries to go blocker side. Adin Hill does stop that. So still 1-1. And the Vegas Golden Knights bringing out defenseman Shea Theodore. So in the order of this, they start out with Dorofeyev, they went with Eichel, then with Shea Theodore. And Shea Theodore would attempt a backhand, would try to go left side, and Georgiev would stop it. And then you would continue with Cale Makar. So Cale Makar had a penalty earlier in the game. He would go wide left, go completely off wide against Adin Hill, would still stay at 1. So after 3 rounds, it was 0 for us, 0 for them. And then you would go at number 4. Nicholas Waugh would go immediately after Shea Theodore. And he would have a wrist shot, would try to go towards the middle. Georgiev would put a stop to it. And then a former top 10 pick, Casey Middlestat, he would be 4th up for them, and he would try to go wrist shot, would try to go to the right side. Adin Hill would put a stop to it, and it would still stay at 1-1, so 0-0 I mean, after 4 rounds of this, I mean, it's kind of impressive after 4 rounds to still have 0-0. It really seemed like nobody was going to give in this situation. And for round 5, kind of interesting, Alexander Holtz was who they picked. It wasn't Hurdle. It wasn't Barbashev. It wasn't, for example, somebody like Carlson or Howden. No, Holtz. And Holtz would go wrist shot. He would try to go on the left side. Georgiev would get the pad up, and it would not go in. And then the nail in the dagger for the Vegas Golden Knights, as you would have Valery Neshkinin. He would score against Adin Hill, so he would get his second of this game. So for the second time in this game, he would get it past Adin Hill. And your Vegas Golden Knights, unfortunately, would not pick up the victory in this situation. So, for your Vegas Golden Knights, here's the win-loss record. And, you're looking at what they have right here. Pacific Division still locked down. Edmonton, LA, Calgary, Vancouver's kind of around here as well after a weird start to the year. And player of the game, like I said, despite it being a 2-1 game, I have to give props to Adin Hill in this situation. He did make 32 saves in this game. So Adin Hill, the goaltending came up clutch for the Vegas Golden Knights. So you got to give credit where credit is due to Adin Hill. He did what he had to do in this game. So he gets the player of the game. Now, moving forward, you're going to be going up against a playoff caliber team once again 2 nights from now. And this is going to be a matchup that so many people are going to want to watch. You're going up against a durable and reliable goaltender. You have solid defense. You have some good forwards on the top 6. So when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights, this next game is really going to prove or disprove how well the Vegas Golden Knights can do under pressure. And it'll be kind of curious to see how the defense goes for the Vegas Golden Knights. Because, we saw in this game how valuable the defense is for Adin Hill. Adin Hill is making great saves. I'm giving him all the credit in the world. But his defense stepping up, McNabb making some good save and making some good shot blocks. He also had some situations with Hannafin and Pietrangelo, Haig, and Whitecloud with some good hits to get guys out of the zone. So for the Vegas Golden Knights, the defense stepped up in this game. And Adin Hill, he kind of benefited from it, but it also helped him out as well. So for next game, the defense is also going to be key because you're going up against a team that has players like a Kyle Connor, for example, who can be electric when the puck is on his stick. And then I also have to mention the defense as well, led by Josh Morrissey. That is a team that is very deadly when they are on it. And then, of course, Connor Hellebuck, the best goalie in the world, being opposite of you. So, this is going to be a Vegas Golden Knights matchup that we're going to cover here on Vegas Hockey Hub Recap. And I also do want to mention that this will also be the first game where your Vegas Golden Knights are essentially going to be back home because they've had the road trip, right? They had this long road trip before heading home. And for the Vegas Golden Knights, it was kind of a mixed result for Vegas. I mean, 3 wins and 2 losses on that most recent road trip. Now you're going to be home. And it's always good for the guys to come back home after a long road trip of almost a week and a half to 2 weeks of being on the road. So this is Vegas Hockey Hub. This is Vegas Hockey Hub Recap, where we break down every single game of the 2024-2025 season. And we're still going to be posting content. We're still going to be uploading to PR Connections Radio and uploading to our YouTube channel. And we're looking forward to all of that here on Vegas Hockey Hub. And until next time, I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. And go Knights, go. And I hope everyone here is having a good time. So this is Vegas Hockey Hub, and have a good one now.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.